In my last painting, I bought a sewing machine, I learned how to sew, and I sewed my first ever costume from scratch. And then I got into full drag and painted a self-portrait as a drag queen. When I finished that painting, I thought that I had something really special on my hands, so I want to continue to see how my drag evolves through the perspective of a painter. So I need to start making my next garment. You might be wondering why my location is a little bit different, and it's because I'm camping with my family for a whole week. It's the first time in years that we can all go on a vacation together, and I'm just like so excited. In my family, when we go camping, everyone just listens to audiobooks for a week and you do your little craft. So this week, my craft is to hand sew the fiercest headpiece you have ever seen. A week ago, I prepared by making like the base of the headpiece that I wanted to make. So this is me in my bedroom a couple days before we left for the campsite. I started working on this at like 6 p.m. one night, and then the next day I spent my afternoon working on it, so it probably took me about 5 or 6 hours total to work on it. I used a technique that's pretty standard in cosplay communities, I think, where I wrap myself up in plastic wrap to protect my skin, and then I put a shell of duct tape on top of that, and then I drew the pattern right onto my body and cut myself out, and then once you transfer those pieces over to paper, that can be your pattern. I did something pretty similar in my last drag look, but with that one, I made the bottom look kind of like a turtleneck, and then with this one, I made the bottom more like a helmet with a strap that goes underneath my chin, and this one feels a lot more secure. And I didn't have to put in any darts or anything once I was done, like I nailed it on my first go. I've never really researched how to do this. I think I just saw it on TV like once, but it's a super intuitive process for me, and the results are pretty unclockable because it's literally patterned to your body. My sister had a bunch of old jeans that were too big for her, and she gave them all to me so that I could cut them up and make this project. And I figured that if I run out of material, everybody has some old denim in their closet that they don't really wear anymore. Or at the very least, I can hit a thrift store and find some jeans to cut up. And also, the idea of cutting up old clothes and upcycling thrifted stuff is really appealing to me. I only spent about $30 on material so far. You're gonna see all that later, but I think that's all I'm gonna have to spend to make this whole look. And that's so cool to me. And so drag. Like, these clothes would be rotting in someone's closet, but instead I can spend a couple weeks working with material and turning it into something cool that I'm actually gonna wear. Recently, I've become kind of obsessed with Lydia B. Collins and her perspective on drag and her aesthetic, because she very much rejects polish and allows herself to create without boundaries. Like, I think that she would always choose to attempt an overambitious concept with rough corners instead of going a safe route that's perfect but boring. And this is not only a philosophy that I want to embrace with my drag, but I think this is how I want to approach painting as well. The thing that's going to set apart your artistry will probably be your ideas, not your precision, because there are a lot of people out there who have mastered the craft of painting or sewing or whatever, but no one can have the same ideas as you. We set up camp today and everyone's pretty tired, so I don't think I'm going to start working on the headpiece yet. I'm just going to hike back to camp and then like have dinner and enjoy a fire. But then tomorrow morning, honey, it's about to get fierce. Like, you guys don't understand. Okay, today is day 1 of 6 of actually working on this project. We've had a pretty slow morning. It's like 11 a.m. already. This is everything I brought for the headpiece. As you can see, I pack really light. So I went to my local fabric store and I got 2 bags of polyfill that I'm gonna use to like stuff my denim pillows. And also I processed a lot of my denim already and I have them stuffed into these little bags. Let me show you the sketch. So first of all, I am an oil painter. I am not a fashion illustrator, but basically this is what we're going for. I drew this at the beginning of May, which is like 2 months ago now. I'm not gonna do all this quite yet. All we're focusing on is this little headpiece right here. I think I'm gonna start out today by making some like pillows that are gonna go on the back of my head to dome out the skull. Today is Monday morning and we pack up on Sunday, so I'm gonna call this day 1 of 6. So I guess I'll just get started. I'm not sure where I saw this technique or if it even exists, but I want to make a headpiece with a really bold and grand silhouette. I don't want to just put a sheen necklace on my forehead and call it Great Gatsby inspired. So I needed to figure out a way to build up a lot of structure with minimal materials. Last time I made my headpiece by basically stretching fabric over a wire frame that I made, but I kind of rushed that part of the process and it looked a little bit frumpy. Like, if I gave myself more time, I would have definitely added more wire panels and built up the silhouette a little bit more. And what I thought of this time was to basically hand stitch a bunch of denim pillows, and I would sew those onto the base that I made. So now I have a week to put solely into my headpiece, and there's no excuse for me to not walk away with a statement piece. On Drag Race especially, I hear a lot of queens and design challenges being like, oh yes, this is a stretch fabric, good. And now that I sew a little bit, I don't really understand that entirely. The denim that I was working with had a little bit of give, but from my experience, I far prefer to work on non-stretch material. It makes it feel like I have a lot more precision with my math. Denim has been great to work on so far, except it frays really bad. And when I was sewing through the thicker parts, it was sometimes hard to push my needle through all the way, especially because I forgot my thimble at home. That sucked, and my hands got like super chewed up by the end of the week. It is almost 1 p.m. Day 2 of glamping. I spent my morning getting like these 2 side pieces hand stitched on. This is my first time trying it on. I'm quite astounded at how symmetrical I think I've been able to make it so far. I've added 4 pillows so far, and I think that today, before I go to bed, I can add at least 3 more. I definitely want to add more height today. Like I want to add something that like goes here, and then I want to add something that goes out. Hey Clara, what do you think of my headpiece, babe?
It's absolutely gorge, babe. I like the zipper.
Thank you. Do you want to try it on?
Yeah.
Wait, your hair is... That rat tail might get tangled up in there, babe. Claire, where did you put the mic?
Right here, babes.
No, clip it.
Oh, shit.
I run a professional business.
Tell you do it. And look, it's the shirt you got me for Christmas.
I got you that shirt?
Yeah, it's the Jeff Probst shirt.
Oh, you've worn the fuck out of that one.
Yeah, can you zip it? God. Hannah, are you filming?
What books have you read so far, be honest?
I've read Heartless Hunter, and I'm almost done with Wild Dark Shore.
Okay, which one was better so far?
Heartless Hunter.
Oh, Hannah, are you influencing? Hannah!
Can you give me my drink?
Are you influencing, babe? What do you think of the headpiece?
I love it. Honestly, the craftsmanship is really impressive.
Thank you. Do you want to show my fans what you're working on?
Yeah, so I'm working on this friendship bracelet for my mother. And I'm also currently listening to a book called The Compound by Aisling Rowley. And it's like Love Island, but with a dark twist.
Wait, do you want to tell my fans how you're on Book Talk?
Yeah, so I'm on Book Talk.
How many books are you going to read this week?
I think 5.
This amateur hour, let's aim for 7.
I mean, I want to do 7, but like...
In the past, I haven't really liked hand sewing that much, so I was kind of nervous that I would be a little bit miserable all week. But I don't know, I think that there's something about being out here that makes every single craft like a little bit more fun. I worked on this for like 10 hours yesterday, and I had so much fun the whole time, and I don't feel like that excitement's really gonna let up over this week for me. I don't know, I'm just like really excited with how this has gone so far, and I'm just kind of geeked to continue. Like this part that I'm doing right now, I think I'm doing like a runner stitch around this whole thing, or is it like a slip stitch or something? But I could do this at a machine in like probably 5 minutes, but doing this by hand is probably gonna take me closer to an hour. But actually, I don't think that I mind that much that I'm spending the time to do this by hand. It is almost 3 p.m. on day 3. I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping since I've been here. So yesterday, you know how I said I was gonna add 3 pillows to this thing? Well, I made one of them, which is this one that like arcs over the top, and then I went to bed. So this morning I like secured this, and then I made these 2 pillows here that I'm gonna secure to the side. That's what I'm doing right now. Luckily, I am quite rested, so I think I'm gonna be able to make quite a bit of progress today. But I feel like right now I am running a little bit behind schedule. I still have quite a bit of these pillows that I wanna add to this thing to like really bulk up the silhouette. Right now, I'm just pinning these in place to see if I like the placement, and this is looking kind of sickening, but I think I made these too pointy, so I'm probably gonna need to make another pillow to like round it out a little bit. I feel like every pillow that I add, I'm just making more work for myself, but this is building up pretty nice, I think. Also, do you see this back here? My temple broke last night. As you may know, I'm currently working on a very important painting, and I said very recently that I'm gonna have to probably, quote, disappear off YouTube for a while to work on it. So you might be wondering why the hell I'm making this headpiece. This vacation has been planned for a while, and I knew that I had to spend a week away from my current project, so I thought I might as well work on something that's vaguely productive in my working life. At the same time, it felt like an awful use of my time to spend a week working on a headpiece right now. I guess I'll just announce this here. I'll announce announce this more thoroughly later, but I'm taking my current painting to Art Prize this year. I've already signed contracts and everything with the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum, and my drop-off date is in exactly 9 weeks. I want this painting to be mostly dry in time for display, so I'm probably gonna have to put my brush down in about 7 weeks. That may sound like a long time, but my Art Prize painting last year took me 20 weeks to make, and this painting is 4 square feet larger. I'm really excited about the idea of meeting more of you and doing a real life art exhibit, but so far my time management has been pretty awful and I'm getting kind of nervous. I know that I'm gonna be able to pull it out somehow. Like my senior year when I had my solo gallery show for the first time, it was the night before I had to drop off all of my work to the gallery, and I had less than half of my 40 pieces framed. So I stayed up all night repainting all of those old frames and embellishing them. Then the next morning I went to my last ever day of high school, and right after I drove to the gallery and dropped off all of my work. I'm not sure if this is an entirely good thing, but I usually don't put a deadline on my creative projects. I usually just take it day by day so that I don't get overwhelmed. But also, I hate the feeling of spending weeks on a painting and then the night before it's due, you freak out and cram and cut a bunch of corners and basically waste a couple weeks of work. Needless to say, my current project feels really important and I want to make sure that I allow myself the full time that I need to make the work. So like really this time, I'm probably gonna have to disappear for a little bit to work on this project. Okay, so it's Friday, day 5 of the glamping trip around noon. I thought that we were packing all of our stuff up on Sunday morning, but no, we're packing it all up tomorrow morning. So I need to have this done by tonight, hopefully. I finished up like the whole base of it. Yesterday, I secured like one of these tubes in the front. This morning, I secured this other tube. And then I also you remember these 2 like triangular flaps here? I like pinned those back. Today, I'm gonna be adding all of the embellishments. I stayed up really late the night before we came out so I could make these denim ruffles. But right now, I don't really think that I want to add them to the headpiece in any way. But I'm definitely gonna hold onto them when it's time to make the rest of the garment. But then I also brought a bunch of orange ribbon. And this is what I think I'm gonna use to embellish most of this headpiece. I thought it'd be really chic if like the language of the whole garment was all denim and this orange ribbon, because I think that they look really good together, and like orange and blue are great complementary colors. And also I want to use this time to conceal the parts that are like less symmetrical or less perfect. Like when I pinned these 2 flaps back, they don't like reach around the whole way. So I'm gonna have to use some like ribbon to cover that up, I think. Every year when my sisters go camping, they do something called a sisterthon, where they just read as much as they can to complete a series of challenges. Like they have to read a book with a blue cover or a one-word title or a classic, stuff like that. But whoever reads the most or completes the most challenges or something wins.
Welcome to the Sisterthon, day 4. In case you haven't been following along, these are the challenges we're trying to complete by the end of the week.
I've never been a part of the sisterthon because I have aphantasia and dyslexia and probably ADHD, so God really didn't want me to ever sit down and read a book. That's actually one of the most miserable things I can imagine forcing myself to do. So whenever we go camping, I listen through the Harry Potter audiobooks. The Harry Potter movies were a huge part of my childhood, so I was already very familiar with the story when I was listening through the books for the first time. And since I can't visualize things, I had already seen the visuals that I could connect to the writing, and that helped me out a lot. So somehow, Harry Potter has kind of become my comfort franchise, even though I'm deeply repulsed by J.K. Rowling's beliefs and I'm very critical of the themes in the books. But like also, I've listened through the whole series probably 6 or 7 times. So for the first couple days of glamping this year, I was at the end of book 5, and then I listened all the way through book 6. But then my whole family was raving about Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. My mom even read it, and everyone was like, Tails, you've got to read this. It's so good. 5 stars, 5 stars. So I was like, you know what? We're glamping. This is the perfect place to do it. Let me give Atmosphere a listen. So this was basically my first ever book experience beyond Harry Potter and high school assignments. So instead of giving a review, I thought I might as well show you my reaction. I'm never reading a book again.
It was really good, huh? Do you want more book recommendations?
Can you give me a fucking minute? Vanessa died somewhere over California.
Wait, what?
When in the book, like they tried to convince me for fucking half a minute that Vanessa died somewhere over California. I put my headpiece down. I said, I'm not working on this. All in all, I would say that the 2025 family glamping trip was an overwhelming success. I always feel so fulfilled and refreshed after a camping trip, except for the fact that I literally couldn't sleep this year. Like, it was awful. I would get maybe 4 hours a night when I'm a 9-hour a night kind of girl. I feel really prepared to return to my painting projects, and I feel like this laser focus so that I can get my painting done in time for our prize.
Wow, wait.
It's the end of the 2025 glamping trip, and I have a completed headpiece, honey. I'm really pleased with what I made. I think that I did a really good job with just denim, ribbon, and a needle. The silhouette is pretty spot on to what I had imagined in my sketch. I think that this is a lot better than the headpiece that I made for my last drag look. And like, look at the back. I did such a good job on the back. I'm just really geeked to have this be the centerpiece of a brand new painting that I'm gonna make in a couple months. I'm gonna go enjoy a fire with my family, but if you enjoyed this video, you should definitely watch this one that I made of my first time ever making a garment and the painting that I made along with it. Bye. What?
It's just like the act of camping in the dirt. You brought an entire bag of like
Polyfill.
You're right. So is the headpiece coming along?
You're gonna see, honey.